Hi, I'm Max Rocchetti, and I'm the Chief Creative Officer of Luno Studios. I want to thank everybody, Epic Games, for having us on this panel. We feel very humbled and honored to be in the company of such superstars of the movie making business. Thank you. Just to give you a little backstory on how we got here, 2 years ago, we started developing our own tools for virtual production. And I got invited at the first virtual production summit in Los Angeles, where I was able to reconnect with a lot of colleagues and friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. And most importantly, we were showed this demo that now I think it's world famous, the famous bike demo. When we came back to Italy, I was completely focused on how do we get this Smart Stage initiative off the ground. And my roadmap looked like this. In our rounds of meetings, we met with a lot of people. And one day we got approached by my friend and producer at Indiana Productions, Alessandro Mascheroni. And he asked me, okay, if we had the show, how fast can you get a Smart Stage ready? You need to do it in like 1 month. We had a really tough challenge ahead of us, but I also knew we couldn't have had a better chance, and we wouldn't have had another chance. So we just had to bite the bullet and do it. We actually decided to organize a couple tests because we needed to pick our, weapons of choice. So choose the best combination of LED panel versus camera versus lens package versus filters. When we brought back the footage from the lab, we realized that we had a show. And that convinced everybody to greenlight the show and start pre-production. So after coming back from the test, we scouted the soundstage that was available to us, and we quickly realized that our first design wouldn't work. We couldn't actually hang the LED roof from the natural attach points. So the first piece of advice I can give to you is make sure when you scout the stage, you're scouting with the person that knows that stage inside and out and knows exactly, how much weight the structural point where you're gonna attach yourself can carry in terms of weight. So we had to go back to the drawing board, and our new design looked something like that came straight out of a Megadeth concert. One thing is bringing a film into a virtual production permanent stage where you're working in a controlled environment, where all the factors and variables have been already ironed out. But when you actually are bringing the virtual production on a set that's not been designed for that, that's a whole different ballgame. So you need to take into account a lot of things. We had mostly like 3 sequences, and the main sequence would take place on the Martian landscape. So we concentrated our efforts in creating the Martian environments. We built out 64 square kilometers of Martian landscape, and then modeled and generated separate hero assets that we would use, such as major mountains and everything, and hills. And once these libraries of rocks and assets was done, we shared it with the art department to make sure that whatever set build they would work on, it would actually match our color palette and our shapes so that the virtual environment and the physical set would actually blend seamlessly. So while content production was moving forward in Milan, it was time to go down to Rome and start building the LED wall. And so many factors come in when, again, when you're building this thing and there are all these components that need to talk to each other, need to accept each other's signal and make sure they play well. There is no lag. Lots of sleepless nights for us to get this conundrum to work. We are a week away from shoot. LED wall is up and running. There's just one tiny problem. I have no storyboards. I don't know what we're gonna shoot on the day. And I asked myself, okay, how would I shoot this in order to have enough coverage, to actually edit the scene? We basically created and dressed 6 locations, and each one of these locations had a master shot and a reverse angle. That meant having 12 different lighting setups. So we needed a system that would allow us to switch locations, cameras, and lighting setups and do it with a flick of a button. That required quite a bit of work from the guys at Pixela Labs that have been amazing in creating a custom toolset that really saved the day. So it was highly stressful, but also very rewarding to do magic. We could jump from A cam to B cam to reverse angle of A cam. People that were behind the screen, filmmakers and producers alike, could not believe their eyes what we were able to do in real time as the shoot was actually happening. So you're probably wondering what the end result was, and I can show you a couple shots out of the show.
Show is a comedy, so don't take the visuals too seriously.
And this one here, we see the main character standing outside on the Martian landscape. This one was particularly tricky because in the background we didn't have the usual Martian landscape, and the camera move is also pretty wild. That's a combination of tracking and panning. The next shot is the reverse angle of the previous shot. It's pretty nice shot, and I think the connection between the LED wall and the physical set, it's pretty good. And this one shot, it might seem easier because there's no connection between the LED wall and the physical set, but instead we ended up comping some reflections on top to make sure you had the feeling that there's actually a glass between the interior of the airport and the exterior of the airport. At the end of the day, we got all our shots in the can, and we did it without a single hour of overtime. Considering that this sequence was scheduled to be shot just like a traditional shoot, it was a very tight schedule, where in fact we were in uncharted territory. So that's a small feat in itself. And the only way I was able to do it is because I had crew members that were trained, knew what the dynamics on set were, knew what the chain of command was, and reacted accordingly. I hope these presentations was somewhat helpful to you, and for all of you guys that are out there, it just goes to show that if you put your mind to it, it's possible. Ciao. Ciao from Max at Luno Studios. Take care. Thank you to Warner Brothers and Indiana Productions for supporting us, for believing that we could pull this off. And thank you so much to Epic Games for supporting us from day one and inviting us to this panel.